like hard called the twist in an X-Files 2-parter. Right.
Really?
End of part 1, I was like, oh, I know exactly how this all is going to shake out, and I verbally gave the play-by-play on exactly what was going to happen
To your wife, who I'm sure was super excited about that.
I know. It was just me feeling proud,
babe.
Be excited about it.
Look, babe, this is exactly what's going to happen in this X-Files episode.
I know this is going to partially ruin your enjoyment.
And then while it was happening, you kept looking over at her the whole time?
No, I didn't even look at her. I was looking at the TV and just saying, got it. There we go. I can't believe I nailed this one. I nailed this. I don't know.
All she wanted to do was watch the power couple work. And there you were just peanut gallerying at her.
I know. Well, the thing about it is that she's already complained about how critical I am about the things that we watch.
Yeah.
Just in general. Have you run into that issue?
No, I've decided to stop.
Just stop talking.
I don't do it.
I don't really talk it that much either anymore.
After when our attempt to watch Doctor Who went so south, and she didn't really want to watch anything with me for like 3 months after that.
Well, see, I did. This is what I did. I know I can be overly critical, and people complain about this all the time. But literally, there was an episode where they kept going to different floors of a space station, and it was the same set over and over. Mm-hmm.
They would just walk through one door and come out the other side of the same set. And I said, oh, this is all the same set. And she was like, what? you ruined this for me. And I'm like, well, it's just the same set.
Yeah, there you go. See,
anyway, sorry.
Society hating on us critics. Yeah, we're such an important part of the ecosystem.
It's true, though.
Discourse.
It's true.
I
believe it.
I mean, I think that critics sometimes overinflate themselves, but I think there's just as much people on the other side who like actively are fighting against criticism and saying that it's a bunk thing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I personally think the concept that it's all up to your own personal enjoyment and whether or not something is good is rank anarchism. Terrible idea. Utterly terrible
concept.
It doesn't mean it's objectively good.
Yeah.
So what if you enjoy it? Fine. You can enjoy things for being bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, we talked a little bit about this on the Scott episode about the guilty pleasures thing, right? But I just nowadays there's this thing. We may have talked about this before, but like where people are constantly reevaluating stuff.
Yeah, we've talked about this many times. Yeah,
I'm doing a hobby horse for me.
Yeah,
for
video
sure.
essays or exposés about how X
is actually good or actually bad, right,
yeah.
right. And it's just kind of just rampant objectivism. Objectivism is Randian philosophy. It's rampant relativism.
Yes,
there we go.
There you go.
There you go. Yes, I'm a evangelical pastor in the 1990s and early 2000s.
Talking about how relativism is destroying America.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's kind of
look at you go.
It's my MO right now.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know, when people say something like it's all up to your personal enjoyment, I think that's absolute bunk. Let people enjoy things. No.
Well, I won't go that far. I think that
gatekeep.
I think it's okay to let people enjoy things. I don't think that's a problem. I think that if something is bringing joy to people, it should be rewarded, with more people watching it or, the money required to keep it going.
Sure.
But I don't think that you then take that and bring it to the public discourse and say that it is universally a good product, right? Because some people enjoy it, right? Exactly. And I think that
Hitler had a lot of fans.
It's true.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hitler had a lot of fans, and so does Hazbin Hotel. So
yeah. Did you just equate the fans of Hazbin Hotel to Nazis?
100%.
Oh, look at that. Look at that, dude. If they ever caught wind of this, we would be screwed.
That'd be kind of fun, actually.
Yeah.
To actually get some traction because of that kind of call out.
Yeah, fighting against the Hazbin
let's just
Hotel
clip
people.
that, actually. Just friggin' just blast it out.
Blast it out. Perfect.
If you're watching this because of that, then you got tricked.
Dude, thanks for giving us that algorithmic number, dude. Increase number. Add to subscriber.
Yeah, I'm out here trying to watch that number go up.
That's what I'm doing.
But I'm actually doing my taxes right now, so I'm watching that number go down.
No, so what I was trying to say is that I think there's also a level of societal pressure on the other direction, though, where people feel as though they have to justify what they watch by it being good for two reasons. One, because there's so much stuff, and so you have to sort of justify to yourself and others why you're actually watching this particular thing. Yeah. And then also, you're judged for watching a thing that's considered bad, right? And so I think they overcompensate and say, well, I do because it's actually objectively good. And nobody's comfortable with just saying, I like it because I like it, right? Yeah. I don't care that it's bad. I just enjoy myself while I'm watching it, But it's tough because I think it's against human nature to even just say that this thing that I enjoy is objectively bad. I don't think that common person is gonna be into that.
I don't know. We like eat chips. You know what I mean? Or like, you know, like
we do. In fact, people be eating chips. That is true.
Girls nowadays only know how to do one thing. You know what I mean by that though is that, like, I feel like watching or like enjoying something that's bad is like you eating something that's bad, but you're getting the salty, crunchy, right? It doesn't have to even be particularly good salty crunchy. It doesn't have to be, you know, a really well crisped kettle chip, you know, some with like jalapeno on it or something. It can just be, you know, cardboard, basically. Right.
Well, it's like when I go into my cupboard after I finish lunch and I'm like, I just need something sweet.
Yes.
For dessert. And then I just go for whatever has a sweet palate, and I end up eating a granola bar. You know, I know it's not a great dessert or sweet, but it's just I needed it for the.
Yeah, they're just drinking espresso flavoring the espresso.
The amaretto syrup from the.
Yeah,
from the
actually,
bag.
Speaking of amaretto syrup, today we put some amaretto syrup in our Earl Grey tea, and too much.
Too much whimsy going on there.
No, just there was too much amaretto syrup. It was like it's like drinking soda pop. But
that is a little bit whimsical, right there.
It's a little whimsical.
Drinking Earl Grey tea with some amaretto. Yeah, that's a type. Yeah, there you go.
It's twee.
That's very twee.
I got suggested on Spotify the twee playlist the other day, and I was like, "What have I been listening to that would make you even possibly think
how much ukulele is on that playlist?
I want to listen to Belle and Sebastian or whatever." Yeah,
beautiful.
We've ended the twee essence, which is good. I'm glad that we've moved past twee as an acceptable thing that you can be. It's like that and LOL XD so random, sort of like both kind of fell to the wayside. They died out.
Yeah, but aren't they just extensions of one another at the end of the day, though, dude? Isn't it all just one great flat circle that is time, dude? Yeah, I don't know if that bit was worth the mic pop.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to edit that. Oh goodness. All right, so what I've been hearing that the NFL's rigged.
The NFL is rigged.
What's the deal with that?
Yeah, so this came upon my vision on my feed the other day. I was like, it was, you know, the algorithm hit me right and square in the chest. And was, you know, there was like 4 clips from Barstool and a whole bunch of people tweeting like NFL rigged. It was trending. I looked at the trending page. So I don't know if you knew, but there was a sports ball. Imagine if we brought that back. Calling stuff a sports ball.
It's so funny when something like that phrase that's supposed to be like an irony diss on a thing turns back around and flips to the other side, where if you make that joke, you are now cringe.
Yeah,
right? It's beautiful.
Anyway, so there was a sports ball, NFL playoffs. You know, we now know who's going to the Super Bowl. Chiefs, Eagles.
And if you spoiled it for the people.
Oh yeah, the people who had a DVR.
Yeah,
and a DVR, like, you know.
Yeah.
I do love that kind of guy, the super anal DVR guy who's like, "Don't tell me the score. I DVR'd it." Except for imagine him waiting until Thursday.
Yeah.
He's like, I've been driving to soccer practice and volleyball coaching so much that I can't even sit down to watch the damn game.
Yeah.
I want to watch my birds.
Or just how about every year right before the Super Bowl and the week leading up to the Super Bowl, you watch the entire season just so that you're as maximum hype.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty.
I'm into that.
Josh, resident football fan, not psyched about that.
Not excited about that. That's a lot of football. That's a lot of football to watch. But anyway, so they played their games. Chiefs beat the Bengals. Birds beat the 49ers. They're going to the Super Bowl.
That is
now,
factual.
There's been this thing, and I've watched a couple of games this year, and I've noticed it. People have sort of noticed it. It seems that the referees are really litigious lately, and like weirdly
well, this has been something that's been in the conversation for some time.
I know,
even the last 5 years.
But mostly they're kind of saying that in like the wussification element, right? Where they're like, "Oh,
well, just let the boys play.
Just let the boys play a ball, right?" Well, so there's the let the boys play, and also like, the quarterback's making enough money, he can take a hit or something like that, right? Yeah. There's that element to it. But this season, especially, about once a week or every other week, there would be like a pretty consistent thing on my feed, and I don't really follow a lot of sports stuff, but there'd be people kind of hopping in and saying stuff over and over again about how like this game was rigged, or like the referees were getting paid for this game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, you watch the clips, and it's sort of convincing. right? And Josh is nodding his head, right? And you can say this about a lot of things, and this is what I'm going to link this to later, right? But, you watch the clips, and it's like, yeah, and there was a really big one. So the Dylan doesn't know this. He's hearing this for the first time, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Sorry, I must finish reading this children's book after hearing this.
Yeah. So the Chiefs beat the Bengals 23-20, correct? Yeah. So Josh is saying yes. Field goal. Close game. So there's this very specific play that people are talking about where the Bengals quarterback, Joe Burrow, was getting rushed, right? Threw the ball. Obviously not to anybody, right? And to get rid of it before he got sacked, right? Referees call him for grounding, right? Which is when you purposely do so, but like when you purposely spike the ball, but very different circumstances than the ones that he did it. Call him, penalty. Literally the next drive, Patrick Mahomes does
the exact same thing.
And you look at the clip and like it's almost the exact same throw into the exact same part of the field. Nothing happens, right? And they go on to they go on through that drive to get the field goal that ends things up.
To win. Yeah.
So what people are saying is that Patrick Mahomes, who's the bright young star of the NFL, needs another Super Bowl. He's been in the league for like 5 years, and this is going to be his third Super Bowl. It's just crazy, right?
They're looking for that next Tom Brady.
They're looking for the next Tom Brady. They're looking for someone to, because as Scott was saying when he was on the show, Scott Bertrand a couple of weeks ago, the NFL kind of has like a Paragon's problem. They don't have like the real rock star QBs, and Patrick Mahomes is like one of the few guys who's kind of that right now. And so people are saying NFL rigged. Now, the thing is that when you go on Twitter, it's all kind of the same guy who's saying NFL rigged.
What, Shad, pray tell, what is the kind of guy?
Well, so it's like mostly, it's like Barstool. It's Barstool sports adjacent kind of dudes. That's like, a given. But it's also just dads, but like just like middle-aged white dads, right? The kind of guys who've got like their Twitter profile photos are like them in a truck, right? And they've kind of taken it and extrapolated it into the entire culture war. So no longer is this just NFL rigged.
Beautiful.
Right, which I'm willing to accept NFL rigged as possibility. Yeah. And based on the games that I've watched, like, it seems like that's something that might be happening. I'm not going to come out and say it is.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't want to be shot in the street.
I wouldn't want to be killed by NFL truthers, right? Or the opposite of NFL
or
truthers.
Even big NFL.
Yeah. Big NFL. I don't want to. NFL's heart attack gun. As I was saying that, I did not mean that to be derisive towards the young gentleman who actually did have a heart problem on the field. I just thought about that totally apropos of the CIA. Yeah, Josh didn't. The second I said heart, I was like, oh crap. Anyway, so yes, getting remotely taken out by the NFL. I do think that where some people are extrapolating is kind of getting a little out of control. Like a lot of people.
What are they saying? What are people saying?
So think about this in the concept of a conspiracy theory, because I think that's the way. It's the same language. It's the same action that's kind of driving it. And even though this is different than it has different stakes and a different structure.
Well, I mean, but it's still at the very core a conspiracy, right? So I mean, it does make sense that it would fall into that space.
Yeah, it kind of falls into conspiracy theory. But you have guys starting to kind of construct what they think the narrative is, right? And the easy one would be, we need to get Patrick Mahomes to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. And, based on the games that I watched, I could agree with that. I watched a Hawks game with my dad, and it was one of the wildest series of calls I've ever seen. And they're like, they're calling things that they never called once when we were kids.
Yeah.
Or in through high school and college. Like, they're inventing things to call. It's weird. It's strange, really. But, and like, I think the game that the Hawks game, I think the Hawks got something like 15 or 20 fouls or something called on them, and their opponents, who I don't remember who it was off the top of my head, had won. the whole game, right? It's pretty wild stuff. Like, and you look at statistically, it's just happening more and more. But people are like, for the first time in NFL history, there's going to be 2 black quarterbacks who are going to be at the Super Bowl. This is why the NFL is rigged. Or like stuff like that, where they start to extrapolate some sort of culture war element to it, right?
And well, you could just say it's a race issue as well.
Yes.
Culture war, true, but also...
No, I'm saying the culture war, though, is like an extension of like race as a culture war thing that like dudes on the internet are fighting, right? Yeah. Or, like the NFL's wokeness is what's causing them to rig the NFL. Yeah. Right.
First, they don't kneel for the flag. Next thing you know, there are 2 black quarterbacks. In the Super Bowl. I mean, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah. It actually would be a real like NFL rigged is if there was a white cornerback. Are there the teams have a white quarterback?
There are no white cornerbacks.
No, I thought there was one. Josh is saying there was no white cornerbacks. I thought there was one white cornerback.
There haven't been any for like.
Okay, there hasn't been for.
Yeah, because isn't that a MSSP thing?
Yeah,
where they're like name one white cornerback.
Yes. So like I know that, so I mean that would be true NFL rigged if that happened.
True.
But yeah, I can see. So, this is something that we've even as like not huge sports fans have talked about weirdly often on this show
recently.
But sports as entertainment, sports entertainment, which the NFL like recently changed their distinction to, right? But putting them kind of in the same area as the WWE, which as you imagine, stoked NFL rig claims further, right? But they're trying to sell.
Why would that be the case? It's not like the WWE's rigged.
No.
Of course, that's all real.
That's 100% real.
And we will literally bring you into the octagon and fight you if you say that's not the case.
It's the squared circle.
True.
The squared circle is what you're talking about.
What is an octagon?
That's for the
not
UFC.
A squared circle.
That's for the squared circle is wrestling. The UFC is where they fight in the octagon. I would not like to go into the octagon with anybody. I will go to the squared circle with you though. But yeah, no, it's a strange thing, and I don't and it's scratching the same itches. And so when I'm saying when I'm talking about the footage, you watch the footage, it's very convincing. Sort of like when you watch sort of conspiracy theory footage, or you watch one of those long YouTube videos, and you're like, wow, everything this guy's saying is making sense. Like you feel that way, and I don't know, maybe if like a statistical analysis or an overarching understanding of the whole situation would change my opinion of this, but based off of my perusing, like it's a possibility, and it's enough of a possibility for people to be complaining about it. So much so that apparently, somebody that we know will not be attending a Super Bowl party for that exact reason.
Whoa, interesting.
Not Josh, but somebody Josh knows.
I know.
But
well, interesting.
I'm not going to say name.
Okay, I think I know who.
Yeah.
I know who.
But so, like NFL rigged is sort of now becoming this, and it's like the sort of thing that like, if you're on Twitter or you're kind of into the algorithm now, it's sort of like a part of it, And I'm sure that like my dad probably has tons of opinions. Actually, I think my mom texted me like, your dad like won't stop talking about how NFL rigged, right? Like stuff like that where.
Okay, well, so my initial reaction to this is because I'm coming in without any foreknowledge in regards to this particular topic. Before we started recording, I did in fact ask who won and who is in the Super Bowl. So I have no context.
Go Birds.
Go Bart. Okay.
Yo, go Birds.
In this particular situation, wouldn't there be cleaner ways to rig the NFL than through the manipulation of its referees?
Yeah, cleaner, certainly. But
Cause,
far less innocuous.
Yeah, well...
What do you mean, just like telling someone to throw a game?
No, well, so... Because I'm sort of battling back and forth in my mind about this, because you could argue, like, hey... obviously, if we went to any of the teams, if we went to any of the players, if we went to any of the, myriad of people in a particular franchise and said, we need you to throw this game, or we need you to manipulate X, or we need to do this, there would be
pushback.
A chance that this would come to light, right? But the NFL owns the referees. Am I correct? They pay their salaries exclusively, right? So they are...
Although
they are part-time.
They are part-time.
No bennies for them.
no healthcare.
Wow. Okay, so then why the frick would they take that kind of risk? Unless they're getting additional money that they would not get because they're part-timers.
Yes.
And so it makes it worth it for them.
This guy's up there. He's like, my daughter needs braces.
Incomplete pass. Just think of it as, as the audience boos and shouts it down, shouting NFL
He's thinking about Lucy's pearly whites.
Yes. Now she'll make it to the other side, and maybe she'll find a man someday because of it. Oh man. No. Yeah. So I could see it. But obviously they have fumbled the ball, pun intended, in regards to the execution here.
Yeah.
Because people are actively shouting from the rooftops that this is rigged.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so the thing is, though, is that
if this is the case,
there is such thing as being too big to fail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the NFL does not matter, right? Like what influencers or sports commentators or
are you saying that what we say right here is not going to have any impact on the world? Shad?
Well, it might convince like Aaron Andrews that NFL's rigged, right? And if so, let me know, Aaron. But there is a certain position that they have where it's like their core fan base is going to keep eating that slop regardless.
Wow, that's kind of a...
I'm not being derisive. I'm not calling NFL players pigs, but I am calling Has Been Hotel fans Nazis.
I'd put that on my freaking gravestone.
Yeah,
I'll take it to my death.
But no, there's a certain level of kind of like, if the primary demographic kind of went through the great, the summer of Floyd and like kept watching football, like NFL rigged is not going to stop them from watching football.
No.
Right. There's just like things that make like dads mad are like, it's just not going to stop. Right. And, they're going to wave their fist and be upset, but it's still a growing and ever popular thing. Right. And so like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Even if, because like in 10 years or something, when some whistleblower or like a guy gets up and is like, yeah, the NFL was rigged or whatever, everyone's going to be like, damn, I knew it.
And then move on with their lives.
Just move on with their
Nobody's
lives.
going to get a fine. Nothing.
Yeah, like what's the worst that could possibly happen? The big thing is,
the worst that could possibly happen is people stop watching the NFL. But you and I both know that would not be
so I'm not going to be giving gambling advice here because I don't think that's
legal.
And I don't really I don't really agree with sports betting as like a thing. But if I was somebody, like what I thought was, man, if only I had put money on that game, because like if you were following the NFL rigged storyline, there's a good chance that you can make money off of NFL rigged, right?
And the Chiefs were underdogs.
And the Chiefs were underdogs.
Oh, okay.
So you're making out good, right? And so there's that added element where it's like, okay, the real people who are going to be mad are going to be Vegas.
True.
I mean, DraftKings, Barstool, and
MGM does sports betting.
MGM sports betting. All these people, they are the kingmakers of advertising in America right now. They're making billions of dollars, hands over fist. They basically own the franchises. I'd imagine that if NFL rigged, and that's true, people aren't going to be so confident about doing the whole betting thing, and that could cause some problems. So I imagine if heads are going to roll, it's going to be from the sports betting. Although maybe somebody who understands this a little bit better than I would be able to kind of describe why that might benefit sports betting, because it wouldn't be too far off for me. And this is getting more tinfoil hatty.
You're going deep state right now.
It wouldn't be too far off for me if potentially the sports betting
is manipulating
is in charge of this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because if anybody think about it. Like we're talking about the highest injection of wealth into professional sports.
You're full YouTube conspiracy video mode right now.
I don't know. I feel like I got to roll with this. Josh is nodding along. I feel like we got to roll with this because I think about it though. Just let's. I got to get my board out. Walk me through step by step. Right? So, after years and years of lobbying, sports betting is legalized in X amount of states. Now it's like basically national. Okay, it's the largest injection of finances into professional sports in basically the last 100 years. Right? Just pure unadulterated wealth directly into, because where's that audience? The audience is also watching sports. That's all going to go directly into advertising. People are going to be every podcast is sponsored by a sports book now, mostly DraftKings, right?
Which regardless of what we're saying right here, DraftKings, if you ever wanted to.
Yeah. Who do you got for the Super Bowl? But yeah, no. So all of that, right? That's all going down. And now it's to the point where it's like, if anybody's going to have an influence, if anybody, because everybody's saying there's this X factor, there's something different. The referees changed somehow, right? In the last couple of years, right? What happened in the last couple of years? Like the biggest injection of wealth into the industry that has been seen in generations.
But also, you could, never mind.
What?
I was just about to say you could apply that logic to anything that has happened in the last couple of years,
No.
and its direct impact to
sports betting?
no, not sports betting, but I'm talking about to the NFL, right? You could argue like, hey, so, because January 6th happened, the NFL referees have just started to be real rough.
No. Or like
Josh agrees with me. That's what did it. That's what did it.
We need two black quarterbacks because of January 6th. It has nothing to do with George Floyd. It's January 6th. No, I think that because there's a stronger through line, right? Who's going to have that money? Who's going to have the money to say rig NFL, or at least convince the executives, of the NFL that rig NFL needs to happen, right? But
again,
the thing is,
the big missing link right now
is Cue Bono, is in my mind, unless somehow. This is I'm having a hard time imagining, and maybe this is because I don't sports bet, so I don't understand the nuances super well. Like where they get their cash off of this. Like
where is the money coming from? I mean, I think you could argue that if the NFL succeeds, the sports betting succeeds.
Yeah,
and the sports betting's whatever those institutions mind, maybe they may say, oh, well then if we rig it to be a particularly special storyline, then that improves the NFL's viewership, which just improves the amount of sports betting that we have.
Yeah.
I mean, where the ball has been fumbled, again, as I previously mentioned, is the execution.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, regardless of whether or not that is the goal, I think that it does more harm than good in that instance. Right.
Yeah.
And I would just feel like people would be smarter than that or go about it in a smarter way. It all just seems very poorly executed.
The dog just nudged the camera if you saw that shit.
Lucille.
Lucille. This is what happens when you have, all those other podcasters online. They make it look like having an animal in the studio is all hunky-dory, but this is the real reality. Did it push us out of focus? Is there a problem?
No, we're good.
All right. More shaking.
We're shaking. We're good. We're good.
Yes, this is actually as good a time as any to discuss the newest edition of the Monomaniacs team.
Family.
Joshua Liebhauser here for the first time in 6 months.
Welcome. Our producer.
Also, a new camera. Ladies and gentlemen, you're catching us in 4K.
Dude, incredible.
So this is probably the biggest upgrade that we've had to our equipment. For a little while, we were trying to do a capture card that didn't work, but now we have a real camera.
Yes, and I think this is as good as time as any to roll into
the Patreon.
Thanking our patrons. Guys, thank you so much for supporting our show. Literally could not do this without you, and now physically manifested the example of things we could literally not do without you, which is this camera and this footage quality. So thank you very much. And I want to thank our top patrons first and foremost, that being Joe Papalardo, Sammy Robertson, Zach and Amber Strehle.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Freaking thanks so dang much, guys. What other things can you get on the Patreon? Well, first and foremost, if you are on the Patreon at all, if you pledge any amount, you get to be on the Discord, right? You get to be able to hang out and chat with us and play video games with us if you want to.
It's been a little while since we've gamed, but we got to bring that back.
Yeah, we got to get back to the gaming. At the $1 tier, you also get access to the episode a day early, so that's pretty cool. At the $5 tier, you get access to the Patreon post episode. And if you think us calling everybody who watches Has Been Hotel a Nazi, then you haven't seen nothing yet until you get on that Patreon, brother. Outside of that, at the $10 tier, right, you get to ask us questions that we will answer live on air, right? Because this is all done live, as you can tell.
Yes.
Right, and all our professionalism presented. Okay. We got questions from Joe Papalardo and Sammy Roberts to go through today.
Hit me.
We might just go through the whole episode. Just might be us doing that. Okay, first and foremost, Joe Papalardo with seed oils?
Seed oils.
Seed oils.
I understand that this is another culture war issue that many people have much to say on. I have read much on this, actually. It has not resulted in me changing my way of life in any real tangible way. So I think that's about as far.
Yeah,
as
that speaks volumes.
Yes. Well, I actually do try to do it less. I do find it oddly concerning that most seed oils were originally industrial lubricants and not fire suppressant, but industrial lubricants that were repurposed. I do find that weird, but I don't necessarily know yet.
Bubble wrap used to be wallpaper,
And now it's in a box. You're not eating it.
Well, I'm just saying you could repurpose old
Bubble
things
wrap
into
used to
new-
be wallpaper.
Yes.
Why
It's a
would
fun fact.
Why would you ever put bubble wrap on your wall? You pop it once.
Exactly. Why would you do such a thing? It's a true fact.
To
As far as
prevent
I
your
understand.
house from breaking in transit.
Yes.
apparently.
Yeah, exactly. When they were doing mobile homes, right?
Yes.
Your bubble wrap protect your home and looks great. Looks like you're in a 1950s sci-fi. It's terrific. All right. This is a weird question from Joe Papalardo. Silas Strehle has been throwing himself at my girlfriend.
What?
Who will defend him in trial by combat? I have no idea why you would ever slander our little brother.
That is certainly not the case.
I don't know. Is he liking her posts on Instagram? Is that what this is? I have no context for this.
Is this gonna be like actually kind of like a real drama?
Yeah.
That's going to occur.
This is drama alert, dude?
Yeah, drama alert. Well, I hope not, because he's taken, so that would
Yes,
be weird.
Exactly.
I would say that.
Well, let's provide, just so that we can remain impartial from
Yeah.
both perspectives. Joe, you're probably looking into this too much, and I know this is probably a joke. Silas, if you're doing this, stop it. Right. I think we covered both.
It's probably a joke. As far as who's going to defend him in trial by combat, he can defend himself just fine.
Exactly. He's probably better than both of us combined.
Yes.
When it comes to a trial by combat.
He's
again,
former high school quarterback and lifts every single day.
depends on the weapon, though.
That's true.
Right. A rapier. I got that high dex build, dude.
No, you don't.
Come on, dude. You're right.
You're not quick.
All right. So this is an interesting question from Joe Papalardo.
Yeah.
Which is, I saw Puss in Boots, and it had this anime-style animation during the fight scenes.
Yeah.
Is this a style choice, or is it just a cost-effective way to animate because of the lower frame rate?
Yeah, so he's talking about animating on twos and stuff to make
Yeah.
it look, exciting. I think literally we're just living in a universe where the people who are in charge of this stuff now grew up watching it.
Yeah.
I think we're just living in a time now where
Into the Spider-Verse, heavily influenced by anime.
incredibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like there's people I've seen people on Twitter who worked on Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse isn't out yet, but
Well, no, it is. The sequel isn't out yet.
yeah, no, the sequel's called Into the Spider-Verse, I think.
Oh, is the first one?
What's the first one called? Or whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't
But
matter.
I've seen animators on Twitter who worked on that and stuff, and yeah, they're like in their 20s, late 20s, early 30s, right?
Mhm.
And they're doing this sort of thing. So yeah, no, this is the exact kind of generation. They were just they grew up on Toonami, that sort of thing, and I think that's sort of why. Plus, I mean, you noticed it, and you noticing it is a good indication that it is of, I think, higher quality than I mean, say what you want about the original Shrek films, but their action wasn't necessarily super compelling.
True.
And from what I've heard, I have not seen it. I've seen clips. The movie does look great.
It looks good.
Does look great.
And people have been saying it actually is good.
Yes,
Just
a lot
in
of people
general.
are saying it's good. But it does look amazing. And so it being, it looking amazing, I think is a strong indication that maybe this is sort of a good direction.
Mm-hmm.
And, it looks like they had some pretty compelling direction and animation style kind of moved around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
What I like about this sort of new school of animation that's coming into the popular sort of space is how it emphasizes, and this is a thing you see in anime a lot, the surrealist aspect of animation that you can pull off. Like in something like SpongeBob is a great example of this. If you're watching Despicable Me, regardless of the subject matter or what's going on, everything does make a certain logical sense.
Yeah.
From a physics perspective, from a visual perspective. It's realism done in a cartoony way. I don't know. I might not be giving my
you're reading
point
into this improperly.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is like the visual, like the true creativity when it comes to adding visuals that are, have been incredible insanity as opposed to just, just trying to be as accurate as possible in its presentation.
Yeah.
I think is really cool. I think it really is a much more visually interesting to watch. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I think so too. I actually, I saw a clip today from a new episode of SpongeBob.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody tweeted, they're like, this is the most that a SpongeBob episode has grabbed me in 2 minutes. Right. And I watched it, and first there was a bunch of people in the comments accusing it of being paid content, which is funny because the account had like 300 followers or something. But there's this rhythm to children's animation now that's weird, and it's like hard to put your finger on. I saw somebody respond to it and say it's almost like a parody, but it's quick and like the jokes aren't spaced in a way that makes sense. We're getting some more camera shake here from Joshua Liebhauser, but it's like the jokes aren't spaced in a way that makes sense, and you're kind of watching it as kind of like marching ever forward, and I don't know. It's very TikTok. Like if something isn't happening right now, then it's freaking out, and so it's schizophrenic. It's weird. I felt very uncomfortable. I'm not the right demographic though.
No,
it's
not for us anymore.
Yeah, there's those videos that you're seeing now where people are putting where somebody found that genre of TikTok where it's like a screen that's split into 3 screens, and one screen is like someone playing Subway Surfer, and the other screen is somebody taking soap and like cutting it and doing like tactile, like autistic, stimulation stuff, and then it's like a clip from Family Guy playing on a third screen. And is this all happening simultaneously? All right, and people are like, "This is what's happening to our kids." Like you know, like this is the level of dopamine insanity that they have to go through, and then people started editing, and so it was like like a speech that Zizek was giving or something like that, where it's like inculcating the youth with ideology or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's it's out of control. Yeah. I was watching that, I was like.
No, so that was a real thing. That was real content.
No, it was real
TikTok.
content.
Okay,
it started as like people turned into a joke where they just started putting whatever into it, but it started out as
just real,
like real
three screen content.
Yeah, real 3 screen content that kids are watching. So
beautiful.
Yeah,
we are in the best timeline. Question mark?
We're in the timeline.
It's true. There are no other timelines.
Yeah. I'm copying this from another podcast, but people who say the worst timeline thing are cowards.
And all of them are Nazis too. Darn it.
Shout out to Tim Butterly.
All right. Okay. We got some Sammy Roberts question.
Go ahead.
All right. Ready? Who is the worst actor, actress who most people think is pretty good? Outside of my personal life, probably we should go that direction.
I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily am really up to snuff right now with watching things.
I think the easiest way to go about this is to work backwards.
Bassword?
Bassword.
Back-assword.
Back-assword. Let's think about the most popular actors and actresses right now, and then just evaluate.
Yeah,
pretty good.
I was going to say,
not good?
I was going to say Bill Murray. I think is actually a little overrated.
Overrated.
He's not as dynamic. He's got like 3 gears, right? And the gears are good, but he's got 3 gears. But the biggest actors in America right now? Vin Diesel.
But definitely not overrated. I think he is exactly the amount of fame that he needs. Timothy Chalamet.
I just watched The French Dispatch a couple of days ago. Look, I think Timothy Chalamet's okay. I don't think Timothy Chalamet, although I have not seen Call You By Your Name, so apparently, which is his big movie, and Bones and All, the new one, apparently is also good. I have not seen Bones and All. I think he seems okay. I've heard The Crown or whatever it's called, or
what?
Something Crown, when he's doing like the Shakespearean plays.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard he does an okay job with that.
You know what? The biggest role.
I love him in Dune.
The biggest role for him that will really evaluate whether or not he's a good actor is Wonka. Whether or not you can do Willy Wonka,
Wonka,
will establish.
I can't believe him growing up into Gene Wilder. Yeah, if you put a little more chub on his face, you kind of do get a Gene Wilder.
I guess you could argue
he's not nearly as Jewish.
They don't have the same nose. It's just that simple.
Okay, so he's also big. I'm trying to think of like who are some big
Frances McDormand.
Florence Pugh. Florence Pugh isn't good. She just looks upset constantly. She just has her face is puckered.
Who's that gal who's like got princess face all the time?
Who's Anya Taylor-Joy?
Yeah, the one who's playing
Princess Peach. Yeah,
Anya
Taylor-Joy.
What do you think about her?
She's a good actress.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen anything that I've been like wowed.
She was really good in That was kind of her breakout role. She did a really good job at there and stuff.
True.
So
Yeah.
no, I think Anya Taylor-Joy is a good actress.
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing's really jumping out to me specifically. Yeah.
Although we're not necessarily. I don't know who's hot right now in the same way that I used to know.
You
who was
know
hot.
who isn't?
Chris Pratt.
No, this is gonna really rattle some cages right here. He's an actor from a very specific film called John Wick.
Keanu Reeves. So fun fact, watched John Wick yesterday.
Well, let me finish my statement.
Yes.
I think Keanu Reeves is awesome.
He's heckin' wholesome.
I think he's heckin' wholesome. I think he's breathtaking. But I can't say that he is an amazing actor.
So John Wick, excuse me, yeah, he's conflated in my mind. Keanu Reeves is not an amazing actor. Keanu Reeves is good in a few movies that cast him properly, right?
Yes.
Like John Wick, right?
Yeah.
Although, is every one of his lines, I don't know. Even like when he's trying to be like cool, he's like, "Thanks, Marcus."
No, the bit where he's like, "I'm thinking I'm back."
Yeah.
That whole monologue is actually not good.
His
It's
monologue's
not
bad.
well delivered.
Well, actually, I think the problem with it, and this is a problem with the movie as a whole, is actually the script is bad.
yes,
Like
yeah.
it makes no
Yeah.
sense for him to be saying those words in that moment, and I think that's because his delivery's fine.
Yeah.
Right, and I think he does a good job with his performance, but the script in that moment is bad. Like there's two things about that movie that I think are not great. One, the soundtrack is ass. Ass soundtrack. There's this song that they play over and over again that's kind of got this like bad Black Keys knockoff thing going on with it that they just keep playing, and it's so bad. But also just there are some moments where the script is cheesy beyond comprehension. Right, and a lot of people like complain about the second movie kind of expanding the setting and making, but the script is 10 times better.
Yeah.
But yeah, Keanu Reeves, he's good at that. I mean, there's a reason why he was a running joke for so many years as a bad actor.
Yes.
Right?
No, 100%.
Because, he is, I mean, it's funny, but he is bad in Coppola's Dracula, right?
Yes.
And stuff like that.
And it is funny,
yes.
but he is bad.
But I would say that he, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is one of my favorite comedies of all time. I love that movie. And he does a great job as that, right? And I mean, yeah, in The Matrix, he's not a character, right? He's better when he's not a character.
Yeah.
Like John Wick is a good example of a character that he's meant to play because he has, he's nothing. He's just a guy, right? He's a guy who has motivations.
Which is what makes him so endearing as like a heckin' wholesome, breathtaking boy, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I just can't stand that, dude. I really can't stand.
It's sickening.
It's weird how like, and I think the movie that's coming up that best exemplifies this is like Cocaine Bear. It's like such a Reddit ass movie. There's just this thing where they get onto these mimetic holds and they freak the hell out about stuff, and it's like the whole Brendan Fraser thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where Brendan Fraser, his story is legitimately encouraging, right? I mean, he was
And it's very sad.
a victim of sexual abuse. He was blacklisted for reporting it, that sort of thing, or at least that's sort of what the compelling narrative is. He was also in a lot of bad movies. So, but
let me tell you, The Mummy 2, not a good movie.
Yeah.
Not good.
But okay, the thing is though, is that The Whale is also bad.
Have you seen The Whale?
I've seen clips from The Whale. The Whale is bad. And people on the, like, and a lot of critics are like, The Whale is bad, right? And then people, because it's directed by Darren Aronofsky, which I forgot, I can't think of for some reason I'm blanking on the other movies directed, but he's Black Swan, there's one other one that he's, Gone Girl,
Oh, okay.
I think, if I'm not mistaken.
That doesn't make much sense for him, but
but like he's over the top. He's kind of crazy. But there's a scene apparently in The Whale, which I think is so funny, where he like opens a drawer that has granola bars in it. He looks at it, he like shakes his head, and he closes it, and he opens the next drawer, and it's full of candy, and he like nods his head and like starts eating the candy, like stuff like that. Like to the point where I was reading reviews that were wondering if it was trying to like
be
make a statement by being so bad, right? And so, and then like it's upsetting all the people who are kind of into social issues because it's kind of making a parody of fat dudes.
Yeah.
And then, it's like trying to say, he's gay and he's fat, and they're like, man, it's so inspiring that he's like, but he's like killing himself with food, and like people like don't know how to take it, and of course all like the fat Arati, I guess. How do you describe the fat Arati? That's pretty funny. The fat protester class, not the protester class, advocates, right?
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
Mhm.
They don't like it, right?
Yeah.
Because his fatness is viewed as a negative because he's killing himself, which is what happens when you become grossly obese is you kill yourself. But it's him trying to kill himself by eating.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's just like scenes where he's like covering pizza and ranch and like stuff. But so it's look,
I just imagine Brendan Fraser's like sad, crying face,
going, oh,
just like
you're making fat guy
pouring-
noises.
pouring ranch. Just his eyes are like watering.
Yeah,
as he's
yeah.
looking down at it, crying.
Yeah. So
Oh.
like The Whale, most people are saying not a good movie, and Brendan Fraser's performance has gotten mixed reviews. I don't know. I have not seen the movie.
But Shad, he got a 15-minute standing ovation.
ovation.
Whatever the frick that means. What kind of situation would you ever?
Yeah.
I'm talking ever. Like, unless Jesus Christ came down from the clouds, that you would stand there and clap for 15 minutes.
Every time I've been in a standing O, I'm the first guy to be like, can we just get this over with? I hate standing ovations so much. But stuff like that where it's like, okay. So like Brendan Fraser, I don't think Brendan Fraser just in that metric, per Mr. Roberts' question,
Mhm.
soon to be Dr. Roberts, he's overrated because everything he does or is going to do in the next few years while he's still heckin' wholesome is going to be gold.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe the next CD Projekt Red game is going to hire him. That'd be really funny. That would be funny.
That would be funny. I would be all about that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Buckle up, samurai.
Oh, man. No, but they are making a fourth The Mummy, so there's that.
With him in it?
Yeah.
He wasn't even in the third one, I don't think. Was he?
I don't.
Scorpion King?
No, Scorpion King was the second one.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know there was a third one because my wife watched the first and the second one the other day on HBO.
Which the first one I've heard is okay.
It was fine.
Yeah.
It was very much of its time. Like
Yeah.
it's like definitely that early 2000s, late 90s.
Yeah,
kinda
but Scorpion
thing.
King has the famous, like,
Yes.
when everybody realized CGI had gone too far.
Yeah,
moment.
with The Rock as a giant scorpion man.
Yeah.
Who's half scorpion, half The Rock. If you haven't seen that, you look it up. Honestly though, in the grand scheme of CGI, not that bad.
Yeah.
Rough. And for the time, I've seen worse CGI in the last 5 years than I've seen in that and Scorpion King. So I don't know. So speaking of overrated moments in television, Phil, right there.
Okay,
Yes.
do we have another question?
Yeah, we got
How much time do we have?
How are we doing? Well, we're at about 30 minutes in the
I think you're at about 51.
Okay, cool.
51. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
do another 10, 15 minutes.
All right, we got another one. I'm going to skip the one that says rank the continents. I'm going to skip that one. I think that could get problematic.
Continents? I'll rank the continents.
Okay,
All right.
go for it.
From best to worst.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you, what are you going to do, coward? You going to do it?
Best? It's North America. But that's because it's where Tatanka roams, or used to roam at least. The Great Buffalo. Yes, I'm saying North America, number one.
Okay.
America, USA.
You've got
Number
6
two.
more.
South America,
South America. Okay.
100%.
Okay. Controversial pick.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, South America, numero duo. All right. So
All right, Chad. What's number 3?
gotta give it to Africa, baby. It's on the up and up, dude. I think
So-
Africa is actually forget Africa being the bedrock of civilization or the cradle. It's the grave of civilization. That's all that's going to be left. Where it's
Yeah.
congrats to Africa. You got
You're
the
gonna
you were the
outlast us
first
all.
one. You were the first ones out the gate. You're going to be the last ones in the grave. Okay, Africa number 3, baby.
Of course. Number 4.
Number 4, Asia.
Asia.
Yes.
All right.
Asia
Okay.
Asia
Right.
gets number 4.
I would have put Asia a little higher up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saying Asia at number 4 only because it borders Europe, which drops it down pretty low in my mind. But it also includes half of Russia, sort of.
All right, there you go.
Number 5, Eurasia. No. Number 5, we're gonna have to give it to. Oh man, I'm kind of debating actually on the last couple here. I think Antarctica gets 5.
Okay, all right, better than Europe,
Yes.
of course.
Yes.
Farther up. Why though? Why number 5?
Well, 5 because
Smack dab between Asia and Europe, Antarctica.
Well, I think because it would be higher on the list, but it actually can't claim penguins as only on Antarctica. I mean,
Okay,
there's
there's
penguins
some
in the Pacific Ocean.
And there are some in South America,
There's
which
some
is
in
why
South
it's
America,
number 2.
and it's why it's
Yeah.
number 2.
There you go.
All right.
I believe there's some in Africa as well.
Europe gets 6. All right,
Okay.
because it's a museum of a place, but at least it's a museum. Okay.
I don't know what that means or what you were trying to say with that. But
And number 7 is by far Australia.
By
Last place, Australia.
wow. Okay.
Oceania as a whole, I love, Oceania, great place. New Zealand and Australia, not great places. Definitely bottom list, bottom tier civilizations and locations. So you call Foster's beer. I mean, come on now. Vegemite, it's literally yeast. It's a byproduct. It's because you didn't know what to do with it. Come on now.
Wow. I'm so glad that because of Vegemite, you have relegated an entire continent's worth of people down to 7th place.
Well, but what? Okay, well, you want me to relegate an entire population of penguins down to 7th place? It's
true. That would be criminal. That would be criminal.
Penguins won't throw up on you.
I don't know
After
if that's
2 beers.
true. I don't know if that's true. Okay. Well, after
They
that,
just throw up into each other's mouths, actually, for feeding. But
after that beautiful minefield, let's move on. All right. Okay. So here's one. What's the worst compliment you've ever received that the person was genuinely trying to compliment you with?
do you have an answer to this?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm got to think about it.
So I'm actually having this major back and forth with my boss at the moment because he doesn't like how I open calls with yellow and howdy. He does not like that I do that. So I have been in these conversations, been told that it's very endearing and folksy when I say something like that. And I can't help but feel as though I'm being told that it makes me sound like a simpleton, when I do that. And because what I want to read into this is that it literally does make me feel, because I think it's nice. I think it's fun. I don't know. I don't see any problem with it. I don't think it makes me look like a dingus. But also I think it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's not very tolerant of my culture, here in Michigan. So,
You're not a Michigander, though.
It's true. I'm a transplant, but at the same time, the fact that I do say howdy in casual conversation and many people do around here is unfathomable to my fellow employees. So I don't know, man. That's pretty rough for me.
I think I'd agree with your boss on this one.
All right, well, okay. I
Yeah.
guess I'll just change who I am. Then. I guess I can't be
You should.
me.
I mean, that's just business.
It was business, baby.
That's just business, baby.
What about you?
When people tell me my rates are affordable, I don't like that. It makes me think I could have asked for another few dollars.
There you go.
There you
That's
go.
the worst compliment to receive. Okay, so this is a sad one in a way. This is sad. Maybe it's a statement on us and the way that we talk about existence and
Yeah.
the state of the world. But Sammy's asking, what gives you hope about the world?
What gives me hope?
Having to ask that question means that, we have not communicated that we have hope in the world, that there is something that gives us hope in the world.
Yeah. Well, I think I have hope in the world because of my friends and family, who I all think and feel are outstanding people who, are a part of the world and by virtue are a part of its goodness and its future, right? Also, I'm an entire ocean away from that dumpster of an island.
In fact, there's an entire dumpster island between you and Australia. Actually,
I was actually talking about that. I was talking about the dumpster island. I was not talking about Australia. I would never say something so disparaging about our Aussie friends and listeners.
No, he was in fact talking about an island made 100% of garbage. They would never equate the two of those. Much like he would never equate a Nazi.
Excuse me. I actually got to change my ranking here. Number 7 is actually Dumpster Island. Number 8 is Australia. The huge moving chunk of junk. What about you? What gives you hope for our future, or just period?
What gives me hope about the world?
Yeah, want to keep making Marvel movies.
I mean, at least I'll find out what happens to Doctor Strange. That's all that gives me motivation. No. TBH, I don't have a lot of hope about the world, just in general, right? And so I can't say that. If it's a line graph, right, it's more in the negative than it is in the positive, regardless of the situation. But things that bump it up, things that move it a little closer to that neutral line,
like clean bed sheets,
gives me hope about the world.
Putting Baileys in Coca-Cola.
Is that a thing? Can you do that?
Yeah, you can. That
dude. I might go get a Coca-Cola tonight and put Baileys in it.
That sounds kind of good.
That sounds.
I sort of
go to McDonald's.
I invented that. I think it sounds pretty good.
Look it up though.
Yeah,
look it up. I'm half 100% serious about
I
this.
feel like I've seen this. There was that whole thing about putting milk in Pepsi that Lindsay Lohan did.
Pilk, of course.
yeah, Pilk.
Side note, one of my favorite bits right now is replacing the first letter in milk, like gorilla milk, gilk.
Yeah.
I really like gilk. Gilk as an idea is I'm 100%
sounds like a slur.
So you can have Irish cola.
Irish cola.
Whiskey, Baileys, and cola.
Whiskey,
Okay.
So it's like
Baileys, and cola.
Jack
Okay.
and Coke with-
Yes. Interesting. Because a cream, orange cream Coke, or like what is it? What is it? Because there is like a cream flavored Coke. I don't remember what this is called. But
You're just talking about like cherry vanilla.
yeah.
That's not cream.
Yes. I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, there's just a cream soda.
There's a cream soda.
Anyway, that is what gives me hope in the world.
Yeah.
All right. We found it. We got it.
It's gilk.
Gilk is what the fact that I may one day taste the forbidden gilk. That is what.
Gilligan's Island?
Dude. What?
Jim Gilligan.
You were off the rails right now, dude.
The legend, the protagonist of The Legend of Zelda, Gink.
That is not funny. That is subjectively not funny. I don't know why I'm laughing. I think it's because you're so freaking psyched about it. You're laughing so much, I'm laughing.
This is funny to me. I don't know why.
We're on this podcast and you're laughing. You're saying gink and you're laughing.
Oh man. Okay. Well,
we
I
did
think
it, guys. We found the hope. Yeah, we found our hope in the world right there.
All right.
Yeah.
Stick on to the Patreon if you can. If you enjoyed this conversation, which to hear more / which to increase our camera equipment quality further than it already is, then feel free to donate. You can get onto the Discord also for $1, which means you can hop on, chat, enjoy yourselves. It's not super active right now, but it's a good zone, and I think that everybody there kind of
very positive vibes on the Discord.
Super positive vibes on the Discord. So if you feel like you don't have any hope in your life and you're living in some sort of black hole country where people say mate and stuff, then you need to get out of it. You need to have a sense of escape. Then there's definitely one place where you can go, and
that's true. Which is the garbage island. Just one step up.
Yep,
one step up.
All right, everybody. Cheers.